Hey, can someone write a comment and say I'm there, please? One of you give me a call. Anyone's there? Who's still sleeping? Hi, Divya. Good morning. Guys, should I wait and come on after a while? Or should I start and you're going to see later? Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm starting. First, give a nice big smile. It helps to be cheerful in these times. Okay. Masood, good morning. Yeah. Today I'm speaking about yesterday. Good morning. Yesterday I spoke to. Great. Good morning, Praveen. Great. Yesterday I spoke to you about international business. What qualifies a business to become an international business? And I also talked to you about certain trends that we see what may in international business. I talked to you about some successful international businesses and one or two of them who haven't been doing so well. So today let me go into, actually I have to talk to you about drivers, but before that I'll talk to you about international successful international strategic alliances. I thought it is yeah, Yamang, good morning. Praveen, good morning. Uh, I thought that in these days of trouble, um, okay, I don't know who you are. Never mind. God bless you, Praveen. Um, I thought that given the current situations where we have to be, hand holding, a lot of hand holding is necessary today. It is. I thought it is better to talk to you about international strategic alliances. Um, See, however powerful you are, you require a strategic partnership. It doesn't mean that in all the spheres of business, whether in production or marketing, you have to be very powerful. There can be weaknesses any part of your business, and then these kind of weaknesses can be supported by some other businesses who are really strong. Uh, so it's nice to have a strategic alliance. I'll give you some examples. For example, Boeing enlists the support of its Japanese partners to help offset the high development cost of the next generation of jumbos. So together, they make it happen. British Airways possesses an extensive, Nisha, good morning, possesses extensive network of routes throughout Europe and North America due to its partnership with its alliance air partner, US Air. Now, there is something I need to tell you about British Airways. As I told you before in the class, perhaps, London has two airports, Heathrow and Gatwick. One of them, like our airport in Bangalore, is within the city, and the other one, the Gatwick, is at a distance of 2 hours from the city. Now, if you see that England is a cluster of islands, and good morning, English. It's a cluster of islands, and you have to have a long flight, mostly from India or East Asian countries. You have to have a long flight to London. It naturally makes you You have jet lag and you're weary. So when you land up in London, you wouldn't like to land up at a distance of 2 hours and again travel to London. You would like to land up in Heathrow. If you want to land up in Heathrow, then it is better. There is a better chance that you will land in Heathrow if you go by British Airways. Why? British Airways, being the domestic airline, has a lot of landing rights in Heathrow. So how do so many of us who would like to land up in Heathrow would like to go by British Airways. When you go by British Airways does not have so many planes as to take up every single customer's request to go by British Airways. So what does it do? It has Cathay Pacific, um, Qantas, has coverage of Australia, Asia, and the Pacific. And such are the airlines. I already mentioned British Airways and US Air. US Air, I think, yeah, US Airways. And they go with this strategic partnership, it accepts all the bookings, and suppose you're going from Bangalore to London, there's a very good chance that you're not going, and you have booked by British Airways. There's a very good chance that you won't be getting into. Good morning, Girish. No, you won't be getting into British Airways. You would be going into one of their alliance partners, and maybe in Singapore, say in Singapore, you will get into British Airways and fly to London. So you land up in Heathrow and you go home quickly. This is a very good idea of a strategic partnership. You must have also heard about the Star Alliance that the play airways are today. Airline alliances are there. So many. I think one is the Star Alliance. So many alliances are there today, and we call it in two ways: partnership, global strategic partnership, or alliances. Excuse me. Okay. Now, see, Visa International and MasterCard International, when they wanted to announce a technical standard to secure credit card purchases over the internet, I'm talking way back in February 1996, they to their secure transactions protocol to go into to have their secure transaction protocol. They did, though they are basically competitors, they joined together to do it. Visa International and Mastercard International. The academics, Barry Nelbuff, I think they're academics, I'm not so sure, and Adam M. Brandenberger, way back about 10-15 years ago, coined the word co-opetition. So, to describe the new world of companies working in alliance. Now, what is co-opetition? Competitors, not competitors, co-operators abound in information and communication technology because no company, however mighty, can supply from its own resources all the hardware, software, connections, and distribution that customers require. And it's the customer's needs that drives cooperation. Yes, I'm referring to my notes. Yeah. So cooperation is the business strategy. Yesterday, I was talking to you about games theory to the juniors. You seniors have already been through the operations research subject and you know about the games theory. The cooperation business model is based on games theory, a scientific approach, they say, that was based on the Second World War. Once again, to understand various strategies and outcomes through specifically designed games. For you juniors, I will be teaching you games theory and then you'll understand it. Seniors, we have discussed the games theory and also the implications of the games theory in my class. So this is one of the cooperation also is an example. Okay. Um, Sometimes you have the zero sum game where the winner takes it all and the loser is left empty handed. uh, I would like to share you my one of my old jokes that I tell in the class. There is this bear, and there is this hunter. The hunter is about to shoot the bear, so the bear says, wait a minute, let's have a negotiation." So they sit on the trunk of a tree and they're negotiating. So when they're negotiating, the bear says, Lavanya, hello. As we go ahead, the bear says, see, I came to attack you because I wanted wanted a full stomach. And the bear says, I came to shoot you because it's winter now and I'm cold. I wanted your fur for a fur coat. So they negotiate, and finally, the bear walks off alone with with the hunter in his stomach. And the story goes that both of them got what they wanted. The hunter was very warm in the bear's stomach, and the bear had a full stomach. So is it a win-win situation, or does someone, Ravish, good morning, does someone says, does I mean, like, does one of the participants convinces the other to become a happy loser? These are the things we have to see. So there comes the sustainability aspect of business, where we want a win-win situation. We don't want a zero-sum game where the where the winner takes all and the loser is left empty-handed. Proponents of co-opetition claim that we can have a plus-sum game in which the sum of what is gained by all the players is greater than the combined sum of what the players entered the game with. You understand? What they gain is much better than what they entered with. Some of what they entered with. So we have to have a plus sum game. If any of you have a doubt regarding this, I'll explain it on the board when we hopefully, no, we will meet. All this corona virus is, we are going to defeat it. We Indians are very strong, and we are going to defeat it. Stay at home, class, and keep smiling and keep cheerful. We are going to defeat it. We have seen, I would like to say one thing to my students. We Indians have seen a lot of invasions from very many different people all through the centuries, and we still have been intact with what we are. And so, what is coronavirus after all? But there are different strategies, as we know in business. There are different strategies to defeat different things. If you remember, I took a story from Management Information Systems book, O'Brien, and there is this beautiful story of the three ostrich brothers. The three ostrich brothers are so different. Good morning, Stella. The three ostrich brothers are so different from each other that the mother was saying, it seems, all the three eggs I have laid, and how can they be different? This is just a small joking way of saying it. So what happens is, the elder brother is someone, like all the eldest in the family, is someone who is very good in burying his head in the sand, which is a trait of the ostriches. He says, if you have a problem and you just wait, the problem will go away. You just have to sleep over a problem, and the problem will go away, which is pretty true many times. Whereas the second brother says, kick, 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 attack. We also know that attack as a prime mover strategy in business, and attack is the best form of defense many times, depending on the situation. And then contextually, very good is the third strategy, third brother strategy of running away. Ostriches can run very fast, as you know. So running away was a third brother's strategy. And then those brothers were so powerful, they built their own followers. There was a gathering, and Kamal, good morning. All of them were together, and each one was training their followers in their own strategy. Then comes Homo sapiens. You want wherever there is peace, send a human being. He knows how to spoil it, unfortunately for us, or to make it dirty with plastic. So the enters a human being, and he wants to gather the ostrich feathers. So he goes first to the last brother, and there, Rajesh, good morning. He goes to the last brother first, and then what he does is he has a Hayabusa, or let's say a Pulsar, and Indian Pulsar. Why we can have an Indian Pulsar? So he is faster. Farhat, good morning. He's faster than all of the other ostriches in that third brothers group, and there all the feathers are picked. So the third brother is very sad, and then next day you have the man going to the second brother, perhaps on his pulsar again, and then he has a club which is much bigger, heftier, stronger, bulkier than the ostrich's feet of, and they cannot kick. So here we are. He gets they what happens, all the second brother and his followers also lose their feathers. Then comes the third brother, and to his great joy, all the ostriches are with their heads buried in the sand, and oh, take my feathers. So all the feathers are gone. Now we come to the understanding that the moral of the story is, was any of the brothers wrong? uh, no, none of the brothers were wrong. Sometimes, many times, when you bury your head in the sand and or you wait, a problem seems better when you have a good night's sleep on it and you can think of a strategy to solve it. Or it may not be a problem; it may not seem so big at all. Whereas the second brother's strategy of attacking also is not wrong. We have learned in business that many, simple prime mover strategy, attacking, getting coming into the market with something new. Um, there are strategies like this. And how about the third one, running away? Many times we have businesses with a range of products, with a big product line and a product mix. They don't need to compete with another businesses and with all the products. Every product doesn't need to be competing with a similar product of another company. In a product line, some of these, some of the, they can compete. Say business A, who's a conglomerate and has a line of different products with the conglomerate B. A conglomerate A can be very strong in any one type of product, say jams, whereas the other one can be very good with things like detergents. All right. So you don't have to compete with A and B, don't need to compete with each other with all the products. So wherever is your strength, this takes place. So we have here the cooperation model. It starts out with a diagramming process called the value net. We have four defined player designations, such as at the corners like customers, suppliers, competitors, and somebody called complementers. Complementers, Farid, good morning. Complementers are defined as players whose products add value to yours. For example, the software products gain value because hardware products coexist with them, and vice versa. So, in comparison, a competitor is defined as someone whose product makes your product less valued. The way, for example, a second brand of toothpaste would make one that had previously been there, the one less valued. So, cooperation is a complementer is someone that goes along with competition, and competitor with competition. So, Kodak and Fuji were two fierce competitors in the photographic film market. Okay, they don't exist now. The film doesn't exist now. We are all into digital, films. They developed DSLR, the digital single lens reflex camera, a new standard for camera film, along with Canon, Minolta, and Nikon. Though they are fierce competitors, they went together for developing this DSLR cameras. So we have a lot of international Dr. Nandish, good morning. So we have a lot of alliances like this. So there we are. Now we have production alliances. Now I'll give you some way back examples which I find are pretty good. In 1990, Mitsubishi and the government of Netherlands created a joint venture. Hima Bindu, good morning, old students. I'm sorry, I'll repeat. In 1990, Volvo, Mitsubishi, and the government of Netherlands created a joint venture, Volvo Car BV, to design and produce vehicles for the European market. Based in Bonn, Netherlands. What All of them had a win-win situation. It gave Volvo access to the latest Japanese vehicle manufacturing techniques. This is how Volvo benefits. Let me repeat again. Volvo, Mitsubishi and the government of Netherlands. So Volvo got access to the latest Japanese vehicle manufacturing techniques. Mitsubishi got its first European production facilities. Mitsubishi got its first European production facilities, and also it was able to deflect criticism from European politicians about the growth of Japanese imports, and the government of Netherlands, naturally it had more GDP, etc., etc. So alliances, that was an example for a production alliance. So alliances have their benefits. Financial alliances. BMW and Rolls-Royce created a joint venture to design and manufacture engines for a new generation of 100 to 130-seater airplanes for sharing financial risks. This is one example for financial alliances. There will be many more. Now, sometimes there is something I want to share with you here, something interesting. In September 2007, 55,000 Camry and Lexus cars were in a floor mat recall. Now, this is something that you need to see. Um, Toyota was doing very well. It had also said that by next year, we would um, excuse me, I have a small issue here. Um, Excuse me, let me go back. I was talking to you about Ramesh, good morning. I was talking to you about Camry and Lexus car in a floor mat recall. It so happened that I believe the floor mat is to overlap the the pedals of the brake and the accelerator. So people, when they were pressing the brake, the floor mat automatically pressed the accelerator, and that was, excuse me, once again, I'm getting some issues here. Okay, sorry. Um, I'll go back. I was talking to you about the cam. Excuse me, once again. Little warm. मग अगं so fan off करणं पडलं. Thank you. I will repeat what I was saying. I was talking to you about 55,000 Camry and Lexus cars were in the floor mat recall. The floor mat of these cars was overlapping allegedly. I have not, we have not seen, but when it is a recall, it must be true. So the floor mat was overlapping the pedals of the brake and the accelerator. So what happened is when someone pressed the brake, the accelerator also was pressed and people crashed. So This one, 200 reports of brake faults in a new price was there in February. Let me tell you the statistics. In November 2009, in US, floor mat recall increased to 4.2 million vehicles. In January 2010, 2.3 million Toyota vehicles recalled due to accelerator pedal problems. Of these, 2.1 million already involved in floor mat recall. Um, it's very sad because Toyota is such a good company. 1.8 million Toyotas in pedal recall in February 2010. Then, yes, there has been this was a very sad thing because it pushes you back in the competition. And Toyota is a good company, so that's a blow. And also, then we come to Honda. Honda recalled 384,000 US vehicles. Um, that was the third recall Honda had issued over the same problem in recent years. And in the US, because of problems with the ignition interlock mechanism. See, yesterday I talked to you about having modular management, micromanagement. When there is an issue, it has to be broken down into modules. Even I tell you the same thing. Even in life, if you want to get 24 more than 24 hours out of your single day, you have to break it down into modules and compartmentalize it. Otherwise, it's not manageable. See, multitasking is possible up to a certain time, but how many tasks will you multitask, isn't it? So again, it is so necessary to have. Again, it's very necessary to have micromanagement done, and you have to go into every little bit of your operations, whether it is production or marketing. One little thing wrong can make such a big massive recall. See, recalling cars is not a joke. One thing I want to share with you is China's Geely automobile. Now, currently, this is not a good time to talk about China, but Geely Automobile also. I'm not talking about China as this thing, but Li Shufu in 1986. Li Shufu started Geely. He was an engineer and currently means it's been maybe 5 6 years, 123rd richest man. He began by supplying refrigerator parts, moved on to manufacturing motorcycle parts, and eventually motorcycles in the early 1990s. Today, Gili is trying to come to India. See, let us not. I'm not here to talk about what is morally right, morally wrong. I'm just talking about business and its trends, what's happening. I'm talking about international business. I'm not here to talk about what is right or what is wrong. So let's just stay with it. Now, the body shop. Anita Roddick started the body shop. Such a great lady. Way back, we know that clinical trials happen even today. Way back in the 1970s, forget clinical trials on human beings. She did not even test her product on animals. The products were none were tested on animals. The products were packaged in recyclable materials, and people were just recognizing that products and everything should be environmentally friendly. In those times, she managed, Shrutika, good morning. She managed to give products, in an environmentally friendly way. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2007 of a liver ailment. And the body shop. She started. I don't know the statistics, but the body shop was all over the world when she expired in 2007. L'Oreal has taken over the body shop. Yeah. Now, what is the time now? Yeah. Yes. I'll go on to say, see, yesterday I spoke about what qualifies a business. to become an international business, and some few trends in international business, some important businesses which have succeeded, which have not succeeded. Today we went into an international strategic alliance or global strategic partnerships, GSPs as we call them. I have talked to you about financial alliances, production alliances, and some such other alliances in marketing, etc. So I'll give you a little touch upon the role of culture in international business. What I would like you to go is think about how your own culture. See, we are a cluster of people here, my students I'm talking about, that we belong to so many countries. We have, as you know, we have people from all over the world in our class. And I would like each of you to go back and, after my lecture, go back and think how a particular culture, particular way of thinking or acting in culture has affected some of the your own businesses or foreign businesses in your country. Now, I'll just give you what is culture. Culture is a set of values, right? What is right, what is wrong, moral, ethics, this is values, attitudes, what kind of attitudes we have towards a certain thing. For example, harakiri, a way of committing suicide in Japan. I don't know whether it's still there, but it's suppose that's a way of acceptance. Whereas in some cultures, I don't say you accept. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you accept. Suicide as a way of life, but there is something called harakiri in Japanese, which I have read. So, whereas some cultures would not advocate it. Yeah, and what about our way of living in maybe different? Our way of living is different. Our attitudes towards a particular, um, towards a particular event is different. Yes, and Bharat, good morning. Beliefs, what we believe. We Indians believe in afterlife, in life after death. Yeah, you have seen the Egyptian culture. They even prepared for life after death. Whereas some cultures say, okay, once you're dead, you're dead. There's nothing beyond it. We have some behaviors, we have some customs that distinguish a society. Yesterday was Yugadi in India. So Yugadi is a new year, and everyone is supposed to wear new clothes. And we have this Bevu Bella culture, beautiful, where we have to eat a little neem leaves and jaggery in anticipation of the bitterness and the, let me talk about the sweetness and the bitterness in life, because if you eat sweet, I think the bitterness can be mitigated. Yeah, so culture is a set of values, attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, and customs that distinguish a society. We can have national culture, business culture, organization culture, all this. Uh, I sometimes feel personally also we develop a culture because we in India we have so many cultures. You are born in one state, you grow up in another state, you work in a third state, you live in a fourth, so many states, and each state has a different set of values. I mean, not values, customs. Uh, how a particular, for example, or maybe it's just called the same, called by different names and different ways in which you celebrate a festival and all this. So there are various cultures. Individual culture, I'm saying, is what you become like acclimatized or accultured to different cultures. We have occupational culture, we have organizational culture. Good morning, Humayun. When we finally come to the class, I could give you answer all your questions about it. Now, the self-reference criterion. This is very important in international business in the way of culture. We have to understand the self-reference criterion. The self-reference criterion is such that, it's hot. The self-reference criterion is such that, um, see, you see, you see a particular event or Anita, good morning. You see a particular event or you see a particular custom, and you make a form an attitude or you form a opinion about it. That depends. The opinion you form is clearly dependent on what you are, where you are from, and what opinion. I mean, this opinion is dependent upon who you are, your personality, the where you come from. It depends on a lot on your culture, but also there is someone with you who doesn't belong to the same culture as you, who has a different kind of opinion, and then what happens? Your opinion clashes. If you're a foreigner in a if you're a foreigner and you are doing business in a foreign country, you're settled there, your assessment of a situation may not be the same as the assessment of the situation by a local person. So this is something that you have to be very aware of and careful, because assessing a situation wrong means your decision regarding in that situation also can be wrong. So you may react very differently. The reaction may not be always palatable to the locals, excuse me, of that country. So the self-reference criterion has to be carefully done. And there is a lady called Colin Fong, the founder of Zelling International. So when she signed a contract with Singapore hotel chain Sedona Hotels International to supply guests with her line of bathroom products called Putri, she says, it is stated that she says, more than the hours of discussion regarding her products, she took time. She took found that the businessmen around her took time to accept her a lady as a business person. So it still happens. We'll not go into that, but this is what is her opinion. Many a time, the self-reference criterion, and this is the self-reference criterion in a different aspect. Accepting someone as a lady as a businesswoman. So, along with what I told you before, so this is two ways in which the self-reference criterion can really affect business decisions. Many times, we have Arabic written from right to left and English written from left to right. So you had naturally, when you're writing Arabic all the time, you're naturally looking at the right side of the book and reading like this. And where you're writing English, you're starting from the left side and reading like this. So when you're looking at a particular ad, good morning, ma'am. And so when you're looking at a particular ad, you may look at it same. Imagine you have a soft drink, and imagine you have three parts of the ad, and you have, see, as if I'm reading English, I would look at it like this. There is a person who looks very tired. Then there is the drink. He's drinking the drink, and then he's running. So I say, oh yeah, this person was tired. He had the drink, and he's running running. So he's up and out, and this drink has helped him. But what about someone who reads Arabic? He or she would read it as, oh, this person was running. He had a drink, and now he's, you understand? So culture determines a lot of things. We have to be careful about this. Imagine the same thing with a pile of clothes. Now, if in English I would read it like this: there's a pile of dirty clothes. There is a beautiful detergent, well, nicely packed, and then there's a pack of neatly arranged clothes. How would a person who writes from right to left read it? There's a nicely pile of clean clothes. You use the detergent and now you have a pack of dirty clothes. You understand? So there we have culture affecting you. There are something called caveats and cautions. Caveats are something that you really should do, and caution is something that you should never do. Caveat is, For example, there is I forgot the name of the American. He went into Japan and he started building American type of houses. You know, the typical white ones with I think with a picket fence or something like that. Well, the Japanese preferred these houses, but he made sure that before he built the houses, like in our India, we have something called the Gudli Puja, and we do the Gudli Puja, whether whatever religion you are, this Gudli Puja is done. Where I mean, you know the Gudli Puja, like you have this thing puja, blessing services for the instruments that you're going to use, maybe the digging shovel or something like that. So this Gudli Puja is mandatory for any house that is built. The same thing he did. There is a simple, well, I'm not really sure, but what according to what I read, there's the Shinto religion in Japan, and they believe in, I think, sprinkling salt on the ground before they start building. The actual rituals I'm not aware, but it is like salt and Shinto religion, I'm quite sure. So he made sure, this American made sure that all the houses before they started building, they used this, this kind of whatever. This kind of activity was done. So the Japanese were not afraid of buying these houses. They were cool with it. So this is a caveat, like how Budli Puja in India before building any building is a mandate, and that is the caveat in India. So sometimes then you have the cautions: don't do something like this. Don't hurt people's feelings by talking about maybe their religious person or something like that. So some things are not to be mentioned. So there is a caution there. So in culture, we have a caveat and a caution. Then we have something called cultural relativism. Um, uh, like a little similar to self reference criterion. We relate, oh, this happened in my hometown and I did this, so it happened here and I can do the same thing. You relate it, which may not, and the conclusion may not be the same. The conclusion you derive from the same event happening in your hometown, and the and the uh, and the outcome, or what is the decision you make in business, is different from what you could the outcome that you could see in a foreign country. You can't relate the same thing, cultural relativism. And then you have the stereotyping. Stereotyping is very dangerous. It's very difficult for me to say it here. It would become racism to say it. We assume that some people are naturally born singers. Another community is a very good cooks. It's really not a, it's racism or something. We cannot even mention it. But I think you understand. We say a particular community is very good with something, and they're all like this only. So this stereotyping also is very dangerous, and that is what we should not do in when we take into consider culture in international business. Then ethnocentrism occurs when people from one culture believe that only their norms or their culture, their values, beliefs are correct. We can't, we have to be extremely careful. We say, I'm so and so, I belong to this country, so I'm from a great culture. So, what my culture only is right, not yours. This is very dangerous in international business. I have a small explanation for cultural relativism again here. All cultures, no matter how different, are correct and moral for the people of those cultures. So this is a relativism. Sometimes then we have acculturation. It is the process through which a person not only understands a foreign culture but also modifies and adapts their own behavior to make themselves compatible with that culture. So, what's the time? It's 10:54. Guys, I'm a little hungry. I need to take a break, and I will be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Hope you enjoyed the class. I'll stop here with acculturation and I will continue with it. Acculturation, let me explain. Uh, you understand, like acclimatization. You go into a country and then it's a warm country as compared to you must have come from a country which hasn't been so warm, so you stay there and in a few days or months you get acclimatized to that culture, to that climate. Similarly with the culture, you're in a culture shock. I'll explain to you what is a culture shock. Sivana, good morning. I'll explain what is a culture shock and acculturation tomorrow. Thank you, class, and I hope you all will log in and see the class. I'm really worried about you all being at home, and there are so many of you who have left your country, so many of you who have left your hometown, and you're alone here. Your parents are in your country or back in your hometown, so it must, given the current situation about the virus and all that, it must. I don't think it's a very happy situation for you. But please remember, it's all in the mind. Be positive, be happy. Please adhere to what the government is telling you to do. Stay at home. There's no reason for us to be roaming on the road. No reason at all. We are the educated people who should teach others by our example. Please listen to me. Stay at home. And the government has arranged for all the necessities, groceries, etc. Abide by what the government says. How can the government control the situation if we don't cooperate? Please, all of you, cooperate with the government. Please listen to what they say. We are such a big population. How difficult it must be for the government to do it. Please listen. Only when we educated do something correct will the others do it. Thank you. Keep smiling, class. I'll be back in 5 minutes, juniors, for your class. I'm hungry. I need to eat something. Okay? Bye bye. I'll keep it on, okay?